Hi, friends. I'm Franky, and this is the Think Tank. Well, how is everybody doing? It is Sunday, December 11th, and we're sitting at about minus 10 Celsius, which actually, for this time of year in the Rocky Mountains, is kind of balmy. How about you guys? What kind of weather y'all getting? So, what I want to do is go through the paperwork that was put out by the city of Moscow yesterday and see what you guys think. I haven't gone through it, but just a fast glance. So, yeah, let's do this. So this is yesterday, December 10th, 2022. Moscow homicide update. The Moscow Police Department is providing the following information to update the public on the known facts surrounding the 4 murders that occurred on November 13th in Moscow, Idaho. Moscow, Idaho, with commencement this weekend, there will be an influx of people coming in and out of town. Moscow Police Department and Idaho State Police will provide coverage on campus and in the Moscow area. As always, we want to remind the public to stay vigilant, travel in groups, and communicate with family and friends as you travel. If you have any information regarding the case, please email. Sorry, I'm having a hard time catching my breath. Please email. Tipline is tipline@ci.moscow.id.us, or you can call 208-883-7180. We would like to thank the public for their continued support. So the investigation continues with the same amount of resources, which is great news. So through the Moscow Police Department, 6 detectives, 5 support staff, communications team, FBI, 46 investigators throughout Moscow and located throughout the US, and 2 behavioral analysis unit investigators, which I think is wonderful. I do believe they're going to be able to find some very interesting facts about this case and maybe give some insight as to what kind of person would actually do something like this. To me, it still seems like an angry boy at one of the girls. That's how I'm kind of seeing it, but just my take. Idaho State Police, they've got 13 investigators in Moscow, 15 ununiformed troopers assisting with community patrols, ISP, forensic services. So it says, watch the video that the police put out today. Let's see if I can do this on the same stream for you. It's separate, so maybe we'll go through it later. We'll see what this covers. As previously reported, 2011-2013 Hyundai Elantra. Investigators would like to thank the community and public for recent information provided about the vehicle and the spike in tips. The FBI is prioritizing and vetting those tips for use in the investigation. The public is asked to communicate, to use the tip line to report any information about this vehicle. So calling in tips, please be aware that this new call process takes patience on behalf of the caller, and there are some prompts to follow. So don't let it discourage you if you've got a tip. This is a national FBI tip line, and it's important to get all the way through the prompts to reach the right agent to report the information. And do remember, your tip could be the key to solving this case. Detectives remain interested in speaking with the occupants of a white 2011-2003 Hyundai Elantra. I do find this part here fairly interesting. So is it occupant or occupants? And at this point, there is no license plate. So again, occupants possibly? That's very, very interesting to me. Investigators believe the occupant or occupants of this vehicle may have critical information to share regarding the case. If you know, or if you own a vehicle matching this description, or know anyone who may have been driving this vehicle on the days preceding or the day of these unalivings, please forward that information to the tip line. Information can be submitted to, the tip line is 208-883-7180. Or you can email tipline@ci.moscow.id.us. And for any kind of digital media, fbi.gov/Moscow, Idaho. So these are stock pictures of this Hyundai Elantra. They're supposed to be at, I don't know. I find nowadays, like, all these cars seem to look the same to me. Oh my God. At this time, no suspects have been identified, and only vetted information that does not hinder the investigation will be released to the public. We encourage referencing official releases for accurate information and updated progress. All the press releases and and information related to this case are available at, and here's the link there. So this is the investigative timeline. On the evening of November 12th, Kaylee Goncalves and Madison Mogan were at a local bar called the Corner Club at 202 North Main Street in downtown Moscow between 10 p.m. and 1:30 a.m. And this was on November 13th at approximately 1:40 a.m. Kaylee and Madison were seen on video at a local vendor called the Grub Truck at 318 South Main Street and used a private party for a ride home from downtown and arrived at their 1122 King Road residence around 1:56 a.m. So they are still not telling us. Does private party mean that they had somebody that would DD for them? Or are we talking about an Uber? Investigators have determined that Ethan Chapin and Xana Kernodle were seen at the Sigma, I think it's Chi or Chai house on the University of Idaho campus at 735 Nez Pierce Drive at approximately 1:45 a.m. Ethan and Xana are believed to have returned to the residence at 1122 King Road. It was previously reported that Ethan resided at the home. However, it has been determined that he was visiting his girlfriend. Detectives believe that on November 12th, the two surviving roommates had also been out in the Moscow community separately, but returned home by 1 a.m. on November 13th. The two did not wake up until later that morning. On November 13th, the surviving roommates summoned friends to the residence because they believed one of the second floor victims had passed out and was not waking up. At 11:58 a.m., a 911 call requested aid for an unconscious person. The call was made from one of the surviving roommates' cell phones inside the residence. Multiple people talked with the 911 dispatcher before Moscow police arrived at the location. Officers entered the residence and found two victims on the second floor and 2 victims on the 3rd floor. Autopsies were conducted on November 17th. The Lady Letta County coroner confirmed the identity of the 4 unalived individuals and their cause and manner of death as homicide by a sharp-edged weapon. By stabbing, the coroner stated that the 4 victims were likely asleep. Some had defense wounds, and each was attacked multiple times. There was no sign of SA. Detectives continue investigating what occurred from approximately 9 p.m. on November 12th to about 1:45 a.m. on November 13th, when Ethan Chapin and Xana Kernodle were believed to be at the Sigma Chi house on the University of Idaho campus, located at 735 Nez Perce Drive. Any interactions, contacts, direction, and method of travel, or anything abnormal could add context to what occurred. Detectives are seeking all outside surveillance video taken from 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. on Sunday, November 13th, from businesses and residents within the geographical area listed below. Detectives request available videos, whether there appears to be motion and content or not. West Taylor Avenue, the north boundary, West Palouse River Drive, south boundary, Highway 95 south to 2700 block of Highway 95 south east boundary, the Arboretum and Botanical Garden west boundary. Detectives are also seeking additional tips and surveillance video of any unusual behavior on the night of November 12th in the early hours of November 13th, while Kaylee and Madison were in downtown Moscow, and while Ethan and Xana were at the Sigma Chi house. Anyone who observed unusual behavior near these areas or has video surveillance is asked to submit their tips. Investigators have looked extensively into information received about Kaylee having a stalker. They have pursued hundreds of pieces of information related to this topic, but have not verified or identified a stalker. Anyone with information about a potential stalker or unusual instances is asked to contact the tip line. So at this time, the investigation detectives do not believe the following are involved in this crime: the 2 surviving roommates, the male in the grub truck surveillance video, the private party driver who took Kaylee and Madison home, the male Kaylee and Madison called numerous times during the early mornings of November 13th, any individual at the residence when 911 was called, or the individual on the lease who moved out of the residence before the school year started was not present at the time of the incident. You know what? I don't know if this is true or not. Don't take it as gospel, but there is someone, another content creator who has put out information that girl was still living there and that bedroom was not vacant. But I'll go by what the cops say. Okay. Currently, no suspects are in custody and no weapons have been located. On the night of the incident, officers located a dog at the residence, and the dog was unharmed. It was turned over to Animal Services and later released to a reasonable party, believed to be Kaylee's ex, Jack. Local businesses were contacted to determine if a fixed blade knife had recently been purchased. Detectives seized the contents of 3 dumpsters on King Road to locate possible evidence. Governor Brad Little directed up to $1 million in state emergency funds for the ongoing investigation. That's big. Throughout the investigation, detectives have collected more than 2,770 calls to the tip line, which again, 208-883-7180, over 2,645 email tips at tipline@ci.moscow.id.us, over 1,084 digital media submissions to the FBI link, 113 pieces of physical evidence collected and taken to the ISP crime lab, approximately 4,000 crime scene photos, multiple three-dimensional scans of the residence. On November 29th, as part of the ongoing homicide investigation, the original warrant detectives located 5 vehicles from within the police perimeter to a more secure long-term storage location to continue processing evidence. Idaho State Police forensic crime lab scientists have worked on this case for weeks and have been providing testing and analysis results to detectives. So stuff's starting to come in. As they complete additional tests, those results will also be provided to protect the investigation's integrity. Specific results will not be released. As detectives move forward with the homicide investigation, a private security company has been contacted to provide scene security to free up patrol resources. The scene remains under police control. Detectives are aware of a 6th person listed on the lease at the residence. They have spoken to this individual and confirmed they moved out prior to the start of the school year. So there we go. And was not present at the time of the incident. Detectives do not believe this person has any involvement. That's great. That's great to hear. That can squash some of those rumors, right? There have been extensive media interest regarding an incident at Tyler Avenue in Banfield on November 13th, 2022 at 3:01. This incident was an alcohol offense, which was addressed by the on-scene officer. This call was not related to the investigation. For further details regarding this incident, the Moscow Police Department public records request can be submitted referencing number 22-MO9896. We have not changed our belief that the unalivings were a targeted attack. However, investigators have not concluded if the target was the residence or its occupants. There have been media questions about September 12th, 2022 incident regarding an argument between a group of people walking on the University of Idaho bike path and a cyclist. It was reported that during this confrontation, the cyclist displayed a folding knife. Both parties dispersed and there was no injuries. The cyclist turned himself into the police and the case was investigated and misdemeanor charges were referred to the Moscow City Attorney's Office. There is no connection between the individual involved in this incident and the current investigation. There have been media questioning regarding the February 2022 death on Barker Street. The Latta County Coroner's Office has confirmed the death was due to an OD. That's not in relation to the ongoing investigation. There have been online reports of a red Mustang on South Deacon Street being processed as part of the investigation. This information was not accurate. So not accurate. And the vehicle is not connected to this incident. The identity of the 911 caller has not been released. There have been numerous media inquiries about the 1999 double stabbing in Pullman, Washington, and the 2021 double stabbing. I don't know about these YouTube words. One, which with one death in Salem, Oregon. While these cases share similarities with the King Street homicides, there is not any evidence to support that these cases are related. Detectives are aware of a Latta County Sheriff's Office incident and report of a skinned dog. Oh my word. But do not believe there is any evidence to support that it is related to this incident. Contact Latta County Sheriff's Office for further details. What a mortifying thing. Detectives are also aware of a Moscow police incident and a report of deceased animals left on a resident's property. This was determined to be wildlife activity and not related to these unalivings. Online reports of victims being tied and gagged are not accurate. The Moscow Police Department thanks their community for their continued support, understanding the limited information we can share, the patience during this difficult time. You know, Hole, these guys are truly getting a hard time, aren't they, for everything. And I believe that they have to keep a lot close to the vest. And I think there's a lot happening out there, I think there's a lot more people that they're looking into than any of us are truly aware of. So guys, I just wanted to do that fast update and catch you all up. I want to thank you again for being here with me. Could you hit that like, that subscribe button, share this out? I would truly appreciate it. Okay, guys, for now, I will say goodbye, and I'll see you in the next one.